acumen with business management skills to drive gains in revenue and performance. Rohit started Segal Shipping Services, now known as Segal Group of Companies. He was named one of the top 10 Indian leaders in the logistics industry by the CEO Insights 2021. Welcome, Mr. Bajaj. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Shantanu sir, for addressing this side, and wonderful evening to everyone. This is Rohit Bajaj, and as my topic is all about that, what are the policy constraints and execution constraints that are into the multimodal logistics nowadays. First of all, I would like to come only at the point that we are into a different segment, that is mini bulk carriers. We are as in mini bulk carrier operators. So many other players would be here, those who are into containers operating or containers freight forwarding, or even the break bulk cargo chartering and dry bulk cargo chartering. But into the multimodal logistics, these mini bulk carriers play a vital role that I personally observed 8 years before when I started this. So coming to the segment, when we started operating, it was very difficult to get into the segment. Started generating the cargo, converting the cargo from, like I should not say, but definitely rail and road cargos, we have transmitted and transformed it to come towards C model, multimodal ways. So any country to develop faster, the country has to develop their coastal shipping. And while developing the coastal shipping, we have the huge coastline of more than 7,500 kilometers plus, but still we are lacking behind with number of fleets, number of ships. As an Indian flagships, we found that we are not even 100 ships in our flagship. Rather, if we compare with China, they have more than 10,000 plus fleet like ships in coastal mode at their flagship with the coastline of 15,000 plus kilometers. So coming at our Indian pace, what we are very slow at, we should improve our pace of owning the ships, and there are few policy constraints that are still restricting the entrepreneurs to get into the ship owning and adding the fleet to Indian flag. So I would request the dignitaries to note few points that, first of all, the funding is very problematic situation at present for the ship owning business because of the SURFACE Act. The SURFACE Act doesn't cover the ship owners and ships. So the problem comes that whenever you go to any bankers or any of the financial institutions, they deny to fund the ships. Rather, this is not the problem for foreign countries like other countries like Singapore, like Japan, or any other country, we can name it like China also. And the shipbuilding activities are also going slower because of no operators are converted into the owners. And coming to the segment, we are lacking by ships day by day. The ships are getting older, whatever are the available ships. So we should think about the future of owning ships. Plus, we have few points also into the break bulk segment. I should not, yeah. So
I think sure. You have drawn attention to policy constraints, and that was quite interesting. I would also like you to focus on the best use of national assets. Like for you, port infrastructure, other support infrastructure is critical. So whether national asset can be designed for use for growth, or like current PPP model, it's a revenue share model. You have any observations on that?
It can be either or both the modes, but the situation is that we are lacking by ships. So ships are not infrastructure like we mentioned already. So these are the ships, we are lacking by ships. So coming to PPP or any other mode, the government should focus on to the like flagship, like owning ships in Indian flag. That is the biggest constraint that I have felt in the industry.
So are you wanting to redefine what is infrastructure project? Because moving assets are not infrastructure. Are you wanting to have a relook at that? Yeah. Because it was done in past doesn't mean in future also we continue to do in the same manner. Would you like any review of that?
I think we should observe, we can review the other countries' prospectus, how they facilitate the entrepreneurs to get into the ship owning. And that can be best idea for Indian segment also, because we are sometimes facing, like in general discussions with the bankers and financiers, we face that they are lack of knowledge to control the ships. They don't have control over ships and how to consider it. It is a movable asset, but still into their control if anything happens wrong to the fund taker. So there we should add on that they should study more. They should observe more the other policies, other countries' policies, how they are facilitating the shipbuilding activities.
Well, that's right. I think our ship owning is minuscule and container ship owning is even less.
Either or, both sides.
And if we want to give strategic status, I think we have to have a relook at it like we have done for oil, for example. Yeah, you are saying something.
I said both the ways,
Yeah.
container or break bulk, both.
Can you add to it, and if you can come to specifics, because for policymakers or even for associations to make recommendations, if we come out with some specifics with this port, this pair, this infrastructure, it becomes more effective.
Okay, I would like to add to Nair Saab's points, plus to the point spoke by Mr. Murli also. Like only development of major ports or looking at major port aspect, we are missing minor port developments. And that can be the best connectivity of first mile or last mile to the cargoes, either export-import cargoes or the coastal cargoes. So let us not miss the opportunity of minor ports development and through the best connectivity also via road, rail. And example, if I give that recently, I think we ever announced also that we were first operator for Karanja Port Terminal at Mumbai, Maharashtra. That port is almost ready with jetty establishments, but no cargo movements were there. We dared to move the cargo to that side and started, they have good connectivity to road for the cargo movements towards first mile or last mile, but nobody dared to move that side also. So we dared to start the movements that side, and like we see, even containers, if Nair can speak more about that, आप अगर किसी पोर्ट की बात करें तो कांडला पोर्ट का डेवलपमेंट कंजेशन की वजह से काफ़ी रुका हुआ है, आई थिंक सो आई थिंक यू वुड ऑल्सो हाईलाइट ऑन दैट पॉइंट कि moreover the container cargoes are moved towards Mundra. Instead, Kandla port also had potential while ABG terminals were there, and then after the private terminals are taking place. So that congestion can be facilitated with extra infrastructure so that the movements go smoother and we get good movements towards Kandla also.
Yes, obviously more jetties and priority to the container vessels can definitely help, to increase the turnaround of boxes.
Right, and that already we are seeing that government is coming with the policy of PPP in jetties, that privatization of the jetty wise, for the major ports also. So that can be the best part we see forward.
I think one port we had seen with similar potential was near Chiplun in Konkan, south of Mumbai. There is a Vaishishti river, which is a riverine port, and we feel there is a feeder operation. It may not reduce cost, but it will reduce the traffic on the road. It will have other benefits. And here, in fact, I have an idea that like Government of India had ITDC develop hotels for development of tourism. They took the pioneering risk because government can take certain risks, they can make certain things happen. And then there was a privatization.
I think.
So maybe can we come out with such ideas where we can tell government, you take this risk, and wherever there is successful, we will jump in and take it to the next level.
Right. So first I spoke about Nairji's point. I was to come on the point of Murli sir, that Goa-Mumbai connectivity of coastal this containers movement. I was there as I think it was a webinar, 6th or 7th webinar by CII, and same traffic manager Saab was also there on the panel. We spoke about that development of the coastal mode containers from Goa to Mumbai is still difficult. Why? It is not only because of berth are not getting facility of cranes and all, but if you visit Goa to the main port, the connectivity is through the city. So the day time movements are restricted. You only get nighttime movements. If you increase the volumes, you don't have faster movements. So rather, if it was a private port like Adani, they could take the next move and shift the jetty to the next level at the next site and find the opportunity, because Goa itself have 32 jetties. I personally operate as a single operator for Goa in mini bulk carriers. So we have observed almost sites, but because of funding support we cannot move, but there may be other opportunities to others also. That
And
any private,
interesting
if
part of Goa is there is a two-way movement.
two-way movement, plus these opportunities are only taken by the huge deep pocket financiers, not like you or us. So let us say that why don't government be that aggressive to develop a new jetty and take the movements forward? Because our voices are not reaching to government, or maybe we are only thinking about Atmanirbhar Bharat in import and exports, not in shipping and logistics.
Thank
Maybe
you.
that point.
I think if you can create specific cases, it will be very interesting to follow, because Vaishishti we saw, maybe there is no financial benefit immediately because the industrialization in that area is less. But as you create this opportunity, it will
Exactly,
grow and
exactly.
it will decongest the road. So there are collateral benefits.
Exactly, sir. I will come to the same point again, that Adani and JSW had created berths at Goa, and they also have limitations of 3.5 million tons cargo per annum. Then how can you think of the Goa state development? Because the industry's first need is coal. So they have limitation of coal import at the private ports also. Why don't government support the communities to enhance the facilities of importing extra coal, which is the first use of any industry, like important factor it is for the industry. So those aspects, if we look around, then only we can think of development. Otherwise, it is only on talks.
Fine, let's find out some areas and prepare some studies on that. Maybe we will have something concrete taken